Welcome to the Mixed Reception Podcast. I'm your host, Barrett Sigmund. And today, we have a very special guest, Austin Gamlin.
Hey, it's me, Austin Gamlin. How's it going?
Austin Gamlin of the sketch group Sketch Me Like One of Your French Girls.
Yes. And of Survivor Social Distancing.
I was gonna say, like, can we plug that too?
Yeah, gotta plug that.
All right, yeah. So the first episode of that is available on YouTube, right?
On YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, and it premieres every
Wednesday
at
9 p.m.
All right, so now we got our plugs out of the way. I approached you. I said, "Hey, let's do a movie on my podcast," and you said The Warriors.
I did,
and I was like, I just assumed like everybody liked that movie, so I was like, I don't know if we can do that movie. And then I looked into it, and people actually like hated this movie when it came out.
Yeah, it didn't do well in the box office. I don't think it got poor reviews. Now it's got like decent reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it checks a lot of boxes. It didn't do well. Actually, it did okay at the box office. We'll get into that, but yeah, controversial. We'll get into that. A lot of like riots and violence and stuff. Kind of just developed this cult following over time.
Yeah. I mean, it's got everything. It's like watching a comic book, right? It's like this cartoony world. It's like the perfect movie for a cult following, I feel like.
So how did you get into this movie? How'd you hear about it? When did you first watch it?
Okay, so I used to be into this band in high school called surprise, surprise, The Warriors.
Okay.
And on their first album, their very first song, they used that soundbite of Warriors come out to play. And I was like, that's the coolest soundbite I've ever heard. And so I looked it up, and then I saw the movie The Warriors, and I was like, I got to watch it. So I watched the whole thing, and I was like, that's fun.
You know what's funny? In my research, Twisted Sister had a song, and they used that soundbite, Warriors Come Out to Play.
I think I remember that now, yeah.
So I think your band copied Twisted Sister.
I'm fine with that.
But I had never seen this movie, which is shocking because I'm a big movie guy. And it was a movie I was aware of, but I just never got around to seeing it. And I first heard about it. Do you remember VH1 when they did I Love the 70s, I Love the 80s, I Love the 90s?
Yeah.
They actually talked about this movie. So I was like, wow, this movie sounds awesome. And like, of course, I was familiar with like Warriors come out to play and like, can you dig it? Like everybody knows those lines, even if you haven't seen the movie. And yeah, it was just one of those things. I just never saw it. And there was also a video game.
Yeah. I think the video game ended up being more popular than the movie.
Really? Because I know Rockstar Games, the people who did Grand Theft Auto, did it.
Right.
And I remember seeing, it's like 2005, I think it came out, and I remember seeing like advertisements for it. Right. And I never played it. I wish I did.
Yeah, I remember it being really big. I remember seeing advertisements for it when I was still in high school. And then a lot of people ended up playing it. It looks awesome, too.
Yeah, I want to play it. Probably never will, though.
Right.
So let's get into it. Like we said earlier, not a big critical hit at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read some reviews. Tell me what you think. All right. So Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, gave it a 2 out of 4. Quote, despite Walter Hill, the director, Hill's cinematic skill, the film is implausible in a mannerist style that deprives the characters of depth and spontaneity. No matter what impressions the ads give, this isn't even remotely intended as an action film. It's a set piece. It's a ballad of stylized male violence. Brutal.
I don't necessarily disagree with anything that he said. Like, there's not a whole lot of character depth. I mean, I guess if you view the gangs themselves as an individual character instead of each individual character as a character, there's a little bit more depth, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I agree with everything in there, but I just like that about the movie. So.
I was going to say, it seems like the general consensus is that this is like all style over substance.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I don't mind that sometimes.
Yeah. That's what makes it a fun movie to me is
yeah.
Yeah.
We got Gene Siskel, Chicago Tribune, gave it a 1 out of 4, likening the dialogue to that of Harvey Lembeck in those silly 60s motorcycle pictures, and concluding, you would think after watching The Warriors that gang membership was a victimless crime, save for the occasion sadist who pops up as comic relief. This entire film is a romantic lie. Jeez, dude.
He takes it so seriously. Like, yeah, of course. I don't think you have to not take this movie that seriously, or else you're gonna hate it. Like, it does romanticize gang life and violence, but if you think any of those gangs are even remotely close to reality, then you're doing something wrong.
Well, that's the thing. I think the critics are missing the point, because in my research, the original script was kind of dark and gritty and more realistic.
Right.
How actual street gangs were. And I think the director, you said you likened this to a comic book movie. Yeah. That's exactly what he was going for. I think he was kind of going for like the fantastical, like, I mean, these gangs are ridiculous. We'll get into it. I mean, roller skaters, the baseball gang.
Oh God, the baseball gang's my favorite.
There's another gang that's ridiculous too. I wrote down. There's a gang that they're mimes.
Yeah, at the beginning when you see all the gangs coming to the summit. Yeah, you see that mime gang.
Oh, and the orphans. Who could forget the orphans? Which we'll get into. They look so pitiful. They're just wearing a dingy, like faded green shirt.
Right. They all look like homeless.
that has orphans on the back. All right, Linda Gross, Los Angeles Times, an insightful, stylized, and shallow portrayal of gang warfare that panders to angry, youthful audiences. Jesus Christ.
No, I can't get behind that. I don't think it does pander to angry, youthful kids. Like, to me, I'm laughing while I'm watching this movie. Like, it's not something like, I'm like, oh, what a badass move. I'm like, like, that's fucking funny.
Gary Arnold, The Washington Post. None of Hill's dynamicism will save the Warriors from impressing the most neutral observers as a ghastly folly. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they really did not like this movie.
No, they didn't. I'll read another negative. I actually did find a positive review. Another problem arises when the gang members open their mouths. Their banal dialogue is jarringly at odds with Hill's hyperbolic visual scheme. I mean, yeah, I think some of the lines are kind of cheesy.
Oh,
but that's
they're
part
bad.
of the charm, I think.
Yeah.
And again, the dialogue in comic books were kind of cheesy too and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it all kind of I thought it was all like stylistically a choice. I don't know.
This one I actually kind of agree with. Frank Rich, Time. Unfortunately, sheer visual zip is not enough to carry the film. It drags from one scuffle to the next. The Warriors is not lively enough to be cheap fun or thoughtful enough to be serious. I do think it does kind of become a little repetitive at times.
Right.
But I mean, I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It goes.
I mean, it really is just like, we're running. This gang's running after us now. This gang's running after us now.
Oh no! Now the cops are running after us.
Yeah. Okay, this was a positive one. One of the only few I could find. Pauline Kael, The New Yorker, The Warriors is a real movie maker's movie. It has, in visual terms, the kind of impact that Rock Around the Clock did behind the titles of Blackboard Jungle. The Warriors is like visual rock. The soundtrack is awesome.
Oh God, that's what really ties it all together for me. Is like that soundtrack. It provides like a little. It makes you feel like you're in a wonderland of gangland or something. I don't know.
It kind of reminded me of the score to Escape from New York. I don't know. I was kind of getting this Escape from New York vibes from this movie.
I totally agree with that.
Rotten Tomatoes, 89%. As we said before, now it's got this cult following. People will kind of come around to it. Audience, 88%. Consensus, as violent as it is stylish, The Warriors is a thrilling piece of pulp filmmaking. I agree with that consensus.
Yeah, agreed. I have no qualms with that.
Metacritic, 65. IMDb, 7.6. Now, the box office is interesting. So this had a budget of $4 million. Worldwide, it ended up making $22 million, which is actually, like, considering its low budget, it was actually like a box office success. So it's interesting. So this movie kind of had a weird start because opening weekend, it actually did pretty good. And then like the next week, Paramount, they halted their advertising campaign because I guess the movie was linked to some killings and some vandalism. There was like 2 killings in South California and then 1 in Boston.
Wow.
So what it was really, it's pretty interesting. I think this movie was actually popular among gangs.
Okay.
And so you had gang members going to see this movie, and then they're seeing their rivals in the theater, and then they start fighting. So I think a lot of that was like, that's what kind of stemmed from the violence.
Okay.
So Paramount freaks out. They're like, okay, we're going to like get rid of all the advertising. So they wait a couple of weeks. They let it play out, and then they ramp up the advertising again, and it actually ends up like doing pretty well.
Interesting.
Yes.
I love that it got the gangs pumped up and they just started fighting each other over this.
I like this movie. No, fuck you, man. That's my movie.
Yep. This is my turf, bro.
I think it'd be
This is
awesome
my turf.
if like there was a gang that dressed up as the baseball players, and then they're like in the movie theater, like fighting with like baseball bats and stuff. Like, get the fuck out of here. All right. So I wrote some notes.
Okay. Same.
Oh, you wrote some notes. All right. Hell yeah. All right. So yeah, I'll just say mine. Feel free to like, I don't know, add anything I missed.
Okay.
All right. So my first note: opening credits and the music.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I love that. Like that whole like long opening sequence when all the gangs are coming together, and then they like cut to 2 people talking about the gang summit and what's happening to like fill in the audience.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, it's a very interesting way to kind of give that expository dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was a fan. All
right, and my next note, I said, these gangs are ridiculous. None of them look threatening. Like, I don't know the gangs' names, but I know there's the mime gang, the baseball player gang, the roller skater gang, and there's a gang that I just kind of saw that they look like pimps. I don't know.
Yeah. So I can tell you like the names of the main gangs. Like the baseball gang was the Baseball Furies.
Okay.
The main gang for everybody is the Riffs.
Okay.
The roller skating gang was the Punks, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what about the mimes?
The mimes, I'm not sure about.
The mimes.
Yeah, they're just the mimes. They're just silent. They just have hand gestures on their shirts.
Yeah, it's just like if I'm in like the mimes territory and they're like threatening me, I'm gonna laugh at their face. Like, all right. My next note: Ajax.
Oh man,
huge douche.
Oh, huge rapey douche. He's a rapey guy.
Homophobic douche.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of like the power struggle between Swan, the main guy, and Ajax.
At the very beginning.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah. It's like, who made you war chief?
Yeah. So in the opening credits, I like, this is my favorite line of the whole movie. He's like, one thing we might get out of this Cyrus little get-together is meeting some strange wool. I wouldn't mind laying a little something down on the way back. And then Vermin's like, you got a one-track brain, you know that? What's the matter? You going faggot? All right, first off, wool. I've never described pussy as wool.
No.
But I'm going to start now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some definite 70s terminology throughout this entire movie, and I'm here for it, man. I love it. I've
never heard wool. I'm going to get some wool tonight.
I'm going to get some wool.
All right, so I think I might have to create a new category for Ajax, like most hilarious use of the word faggot. He's calling people faggot nonstop in this movie, and right. It's not politically correct now, but whatever it really was, but
right.
I laughed.
Yeah, there was 2 times where he said the exact same thing, where he's like, "What are you turning faggot?" All y'all are turning faggot.
Well, there's that one scene where I guess they get off the subway and they're like looking around and they're like, some of them are kind of scared, and he's like, "You guys are being a bunch of faggots." My next note: the meeting of the gangs. And Cyrus is like, "Can you dig it?"
Yes.
Yo, Cyrus is cool.
Cyrus is cool. I think my favorite line from him is when he's like, "Can you count suckers?" Like, you just called them suckers at the beginning.
Well, basically, the whole purpose of this meeting, I guess, is like a truce. They don't want any gang violence. They want everybody to work together so they can, like, I guess, take over the city or something like that.
Yeah. So I have a fun fact, which I hope that you weren't going to use this, but this was actually based on a real gang summit that happened in New York.
I did write that down.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can jump ahead. I mean, this was known as, so this happened in real life. It's loosely based. December 8th, 1971. It was known as the Hoe Avenue Peace Meeting. And right. I guess one of the members of the Ghetto Brothers, Black Benji, was shot and killed during a meeting when he was trying to negotiate peace.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Which this is actually based on a book. I didn't know if you knew that.
The Warriors?
Yeah.
The whole movie?
I think the movie's very different. So the book came out in 1965, but then this event happened in 1971. So I'm guessing they based the movie mainly on this event and probably just borrowed elements from the book.
Okay.
But
see, yeah, that's how I always thought it came about, is that they took this event that actually happened in real life and then wrote a story around that and like stylized it and fictionalized it.
Yeah, I didn't look into the book very much. But,
yeah.
I mean, I think the movie is what's popular.
Right.
So I like the radio DJ chick.
Yeah, I love that part.
I just think it's like, I guess it's, who's listening to the station? Like, how does she know all this? Maybe it's just like not really happening. I don't know.
Right. Well, I think in the very beginning, right after, what's his name? Cyrus dies. And the new leader of the Riffs, they have like the big Riffs meeting, and he's like, well, let's put out the word. And then it immediately cuts to that radio DJ.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that he put the word to her.
Oh, well, there is a scene where he is, the main bad guy is like on the phone.
Right.
So maybe he's like giving her information.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's, we don't really need it because we kind of know what's happening. But I mean, I think it's a nice little stylistic choice.
Yeah, exactly. More style. I also like, so this happens a couple times in the movie, not every single cut, but the first time that they cut to the radio DJ, when they cut back, it does like a page turn kind of thing and just makes it even seem more like you're in a comic book. So I was going to ask you this. So which version of this movie did you see? Because there's a director's cut that has like comic book panels. Okay. Is that the one you saw? No. Okay. I think I saw the theatrical. Okay. Let me double check. No, yeah, there was no comic book panels. There was just like a couple of cut scenes that did that. Oh, you talking about the wipes? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get into the director's cut because that's kind of interesting. I do like this scene. I guess Luther, the leader of the Rogues who actually murders Cyrus. Right. I guess they're at this store, and then they're about to walk away. And then the chick's like, what about the money you owe me? And he's like, for what? Yeah, I wrote that down. I wrote that exact quote down because it's so funny to me. He goes, for what? And he goes full Pacino. Yeah. Like overreacting. I love it. Yeah, it's so great. For what? Throws a change at her. I put orphans. Worst gang ever. Man, they are a bunch of pussies. They are. They're like, well, I guess you could pass through. And then it takes that girl coming out, or Mercy coming out and like bocking at him. Like a chicken. And they're like, yo, you see what you get when you mess with the orphans? And then they throw they casually throw a Molotov cocktail into a car. Oh, when the Warriors do it, they're so cool. They're just like not even fazed by these chodes. And they're just like, hey, give me your rag. Yeah. He rips the rag from that. He rips part of that dress from that girl, and then they just casually make a Molotov cocktail and throw it at the car, and then they just run. It's funny. Go. Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes. Doesn't Mercy, who's that girl? She looks exactly like Mila Kunis to me. She kind of does. Yeah. Like the first time I watched this movie, I was like, oh, I didn't know Mila Kunis. Oh, wait, this is in the 70s. Like this is 79. Yeah. I don't think she was born yet. No.
I have this. I pose this question: Mercy, like, why does she tag along?
I think so. Yeah, it does seem weird why she tags along, but I think she just hated her own gang so much that she saw a cool one and she's like, "I'm gonna tag along with these guys."
Yeah, who could blame her? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the orphans, like, they're so bad and lame that they didn't even get invited to the meeting.
Right. They didn't even get to go to the gang summit.
This was a great line. The baseball gang, what are they called? The baseball furies?
Yeah.
They're chasing the Warriors. And then Ajax like, I'll shove that bat up your ass and turn you into a popsicle.
I wrote that one down too.
I mean, that might be the third best line in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite line in this movie. Aside from like, can you dig it? And Warriors come out to play.
All right, so they beat up the baseball gang, and then Ajax like runs past. They run past this like cute chick on this bench, and then like Ajax is like, "Whoa, time out! Like, let's try to fuck this chick." And everybody's like, "No, dude, like we gotta go."
No, he's implying not trying to fuck this chick. Okay, he says, doesn't she know parks are dangerous at night? And I'm just like, dude, you're obviously talking about raping this girl right now. This isn't cool.
And it's funny because like two of the other Warriors, like the main guy, Swan, he's just like, no. But the other two are like kind of considering it.
Right.
So anyway, like he's like, all right, I'll catch up with you guys later. He's like, maybe you guys are just all going faggot. And then he like, but this is great because like I like the Ajax character. I think he's great. I think he's a nice little like kind of mirror of Swan.
Right.
But yeah, he's like all over this chick, and he's like, I think he's like biting her at one point.
Yeah, because the girl's like, yeah, we can get it on or something like that. He's like, I like it rough, and just starts like manhandling her.
Yeah. Then she handcuffs him.
Right. That was a good moment.
Yeah. And then you don't see him for the rest of the movie.
Right. I like good riddance, honestly.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit, but like a good performance. Like,
yeah,
I like the character. You're not supposed to like him, but
right. I liked it. I hated him.
Yes. Okay, I put this. The Warriors are stupid. They get tricked by the Lizzies. Here's the thing. The Warriors, like, they're I would say they're a pretty good gang, but like anytime like getting laid is like on the line, like they're always gonna try to get laid.
Yeah, I don't like they're in this fight for their life trying to get back to Coney Island.
Like you don't realize. I don't think you realize it. Like all these gangs are after you. Like thousands and thousands of people are after you.
Yeah, and you're just gonna like join up with this group of girls because they're girls, but they're all still in a uniform. They're still obviously a gang. Like, how are you gonna get fooled like that?
But yeah, that made me laugh. Oh, this was a good line. So I guess I don't know. This whole movie is basically one elaborate chase scene after the next. But there's a part where Swan and Mercy are like walking in the subway tunnel, and like Mercy's like trying to fuck Swan in the subway tunnel. I put gross.
I wrote about that part. I wrote Swan slut shames Mercy because that's what he's doing the whole time. I wrote
that line down. He's like, why don't you just tie a mattress to your back?
Yeah. You probably don't even remember the guys that you fuck on Fridays.
Yeah, you don't care where it is, do you? But like, okay, I'm all about like having sex in interesting places.
Sure.
But a subway tunnel?
Yeah, that's a dirty place.
And there's like, there's rats and stuff in there.
Rats, and then like the threat of being hit by a subway train.
That too. That's I would say more so than the rats. That's
right. It's a little shifty.
I put this part too. Back to Mercy again. This I like the character, but she is kind of an idiot. Yeah. So like they're running from the roller skate gang, and then she's like, so they go hide in the bathroom, and then Mercy's like, wait a minute, I can't go in there. It's a men's room.
I love that part.
I mean, you just a minute ago you're trying to fuck somebody in a subway tunnel, but you can't go into a men's bathroom.
So I think that part was supposed to be comic relief, and like the movie makers didn't understand that there's already so much comedy in it just through the dialogue that like you don't need that line.
And then the bathroom fight's pretty good with the roller skaters.
Oh yeah, that might be my favorite fight.
Yeah, a lot of slow-mo.
Yeah,
which
I like he opens the door and sprays spray paint right into the dude's eye.
That's a good one. All right, so I'm kind of skipping ahead, but like basically they make it to Coney Island, and then what? Luther, the head of what is that?
The Rogues
gang. The Rogues. It's a famous scene. Warriors come out to play. Yeah. He's like rattling those bottles on his fingers.
Oh, it's iconic.
That's iconic. And I put the beach showdown. So Luther's an idiot because he's like gonna shoot him,
right?
And then he like Swan like throws the knife at his arm. Like you didn't. Why didn't you shoot the gun when you saw him move? And
then the funniest thing to me, like, is when he gets the knife stuck in him, he just turns into the biggest fucking pussy. He's just like, ow, it hurts. He's like Mr. Tough Guy the whole time, and then like he gets hit with that knife, and he just.
That was a great scene. I love when the Riffs show up.
Right,
the Riffs leader is like, "You Warriors are good, real good." Swan's just like, the best. That was a great line.
I love when Luther, the Riffs are out there, and the Warriors ask him like, "Are you still looking for us?" And he's like, "No, we're looking for the Rogues." And then Luther's like, "No, it wasn't us. It was them, the Warriors." And he starts like crying.
That actor who played Luther, I mean, is this the all-time like biggest like weasel in cinematic history?
He might be.
And then that's our movie. I put closing credit song "In the City" by Joe Walsh. That's a great song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was in the whole credits and everything with them walking down the beach to that song. I was a fan of that.
Those are my notes. You got anything to add?
I want to go back to the girl gang. And so when they're all like making out, and they're making out for like 10, 15 minutes, it seems like they're really getting into it. And then all of a sudden they whip out these weapons, and somebody yells, "Shit, the chicks are packed. The chicks are packed."
The Lizzies are packing.
They're packing. I just thought that was the funniest line. And that they waited for like 20 minutes before they pulled out their weapons to like lull them into like this sense of being comfortable.
That whole sequence is weird. It's like, I mean, that would be the last thing on my mind is getting some wool.
Right.
When I'm being chased by half the city of gangs.
I know. God, it's so funny. Also, another line I like, this is back on the beach. I think the Warriors, they're like, why'd you kill Cyrus? And Luther's just like, I don't know. I just like doing things like that.
He has no reason to kill him. Like what the hell?
No reason. I just like doing things like that. He had literally no reason to shoot him, and he just did it anyways. He's like the Joker. He just thrives off chaos.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Let's go into trivia. So we already talked about this movie, loosely based on a real event. I put the iconic Warriors come out to play scene was completely improvised by David Patrick Kelly, the actor who played Luther. Nice. So I guess the scene wasn't working, and then the director was just like, look, let's like come up with something. So we like gathered up some empty beer bottles he found under the boardwalk, and then he just improvised it. I guess he based that scene off of, I guess there was a guy that bullied him when he was younger.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how he came up with the iconic come out to play line.
Wait, so a guy bullied him when he was younger by doing that?
Or? I don't know. I don't know if he did the whole bottle thing. Maybe. I think the bully was like, come out to play.
Oh, I see.
Quite possibly the best improvised scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah. This is an iconic scene. It's like, it's awesome.
The original script, Swan was to be abducted by a homosexual and sadomasochistic gang who had Doberman pinschers. Wow.
It's a very elaborate gang.
Do we want that scene in here?
I don't think so.
I don't think we need it.
I think it's problematic enough without adding like a homosexual gang.
Oh, that probably would have just added to the controversy.
Right.
When it came out. It'd probably be controversial today too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Especially if they were all like very stereotypical. That's where I think the issue would really come in. And like in this movie, that's how it would have been. They would have that
totally.
Right.
They would have been dressed up in like drag or
Right.
I'm glad they nixed the that idea. This was interesting. Apparently, this production was like it was difficult because gangs were like messing with the cast and crew. Like they were taunting them, harassing them, they were threatening them. They would be filming a scene and then you'd have some gang members over to the side like just shouting and making noises and stuff. And they actually had to like reshoot a lot of scenes. And so they had to get security involved and like remove like the gang members. And I thought this was interesting too. They actually paid a real gang called the Mongrels $500 a day to guard the production equipment's truck.
Oh, the Mongrels are a motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
That was like a lot of people were doing that back in the day. Like Woodstock had a Hell's Angels doing, I mean, that's the 60s, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they had to have a gang to fend off the other gangs.
Pretty much.
So that's pretty funny. And it's crazy, but it's not all that surprising because you think about New York in the 70s, it was like a pretty dangerous place. And they're all over New York, like in the Bronx, Brooklyn, all, Queens, everywhere. So
I thought this was interesting. Cyrus was originally cast using a real New York gang leader. So they got a guy who was a real gang leader.
Nice. And
he was like all about it. He was very enthusiastic about the role. And then he mysteriously vanished right before shooting began. Nobody ever heard from him again. There's speculation that maybe he was murdered because he wanted to be in this movie about gangs. I don't know. Pretty creepy.
That is pretty creepy.
But then they kind of scrambled at the last minute and they cast a local theater actor. So Cyrus's name, the actor was Roger Hill. I mean, I like the actor they got for Cyrus.
Yeah, I agree.
I
thought he was perfect for what he did.
To go back to the director's cut, there was an opening narration planned, voiced by Orson Welles. That got cut. And then the original idea, as I said before, is to have like comic book style transitions between the scenes.
Okay.
So they axed that idea. Then they did director's cut, put back the Orson Welles voiceover, and then they came up with the comic book panel transitions, which I don't like that.
Yeah, it's kind of too on the nose.
Yeah, did you ever see that movie Hulk?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it's a horrible movie, but the Hulk, the original Hulk, before the Edward Norton one, they did that. They did comic book panels, and it was so fucking stupid. So I don't know. So the director's cut's kind of a George Lucas situation. You can only buy on Blu-ray the director's cut, but okay. I was able to rent the theatrical cut, but you can't own it on Blu-ray, which is annoying.
You can't own the theatrical cut on Blu-ray?
You can rent, like I rented this morning. I watched it on Vudu. So
okay,
you can rent it, but like physical copy, like a Blu-ray or a DVD, like the director's cut is the only edition that's available right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I watched it on Amazon. I watched the theatrical version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. So in the script, Fox, he is that character who has like the kind of Jufro.
Oh yeah.
So he was originally the love interest of Mercy.
Okay.
But the two actors had no chemistry. So they were like, all right, this isn't working. So we're going to transfer the Mercy romance to Swan, which is for the better. I think they have pretty good chemistry.
Yeah.
So the actor was like so pissed off. And the actor's name was Thomas G. Waits, who actually was in, I don't know if you've seen The Thing, but he's actually in The Thing.
Okay.
The John Carpenter movie. But anyway, so he was pissed off that his role was reduced, and him and the director just like were constantly at it. And then eventually the director was just like, fuck this, like we got to fire this guy. And so this scene's kind of awkward in the movie when he gets thrown on the tracks by the cop and the train runs over him.
Right.
Because you can't really see his face. They basically got like a stuntman to just like put on a wig, and they like that's how they. Because like the director was so pissed, he was like, "Just write him out of the movie. I'm sick of this dude." So, because he kind of had a big part in the first half of the movie.
Yeah, he did.
And then he just dies unceremoniously.
Right. But I feel like that's how everything happened in this movie. Like as far as deaths or arrests or something like that, it's all pretty unceremonious. Just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And then they move on without remorse.
Right. Remake. So Tony Scott, he's the brother of Ridley Scott.
Okay.
He did Top Gun, Days of Thunder, True Romance. He's dead now, but in 2005, he said that he wanted to do a remake of The Warriors, and it was going to be a modern day New York City, and I think it was going to be kind of a more realistic portrayal. They weren't going to have the baseball furies or the high hats.
Okay.
But he died, so that never got off the ground. And then
yeah, go ahead. There's
a director called Mark Neveldine. He directed the Crank movies and Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. And then he said that he wants to do it. I hope this never happens. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no there.
Part of me kind of does want to see a more serious take of it, just to see it. I don't think I would like it, but I am curious about it. If that makes any sense. I will say
this about the remake: if they ever do it, which inevitably it's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. If they do it, I think you're not gonna be able to recreate like the kind of over the top goofiness of this movie.
Right.
You can't recreate that. So if you have to do it, that's a direction to go. It's a more gritty, like grounded approach.
Right. And like I said, I am curious about that movie. Don't know that I would like it, but
a TV show is actually in the works. So back in July of 2016, Joe and Anthony Russo, they are the guys who did some of the Captain America movies.
Okay.
And Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War. They announced that they were working with Paramount Television and Hulu for a reimagined Warriors TV series. Now, this was back in July 2016. I haven't heard anything since.
Right.
That was the last on it. A TV series. What do we think about a TV series?
I think I hate it. I think I hate the idea that I think that would get really old really quick, and you'd find that show jumping the shark in like the first season.
Yeah, I don't know if this lends itself to a television show.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that's trivia. All right, are you ready for categories?
Oh yeah, let's do some categories.
All right, what's the best scene?
Best scene. I'm gonna go with the fight scene with the punks where they're in the bathroom. I think that's my favorite scene of the movie.
That's a good one. This is tough because there's a lot of good scenes. I really like the meeting with Cyrus. That's great.
Yeah.
And the beach scene is great. The beach showdown. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go with I like the meeting.
That's a great scene.
It's so cool to see all those extras and like all the costumes and everything. And
then with Cyrus giving his speech.
Yeah, and like that actor's like really good in that role. And it's just, yeah, it's a cool scene.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the worst scene?
Ooh, I know my answer to this. It's the rapey scene with what's his name? Ajax, when he's sitting next to that girl and starts like attacking her and like saying, "I like it rough." That's just so cringy.
I know. I like that scene because he gets caught though.
Oh, I like immediately after that when he gets handcuffed. But yeah.
Jesus, worst scene. Like there's nothing about this movie I like dislike.
Mm.
I don't know. I guess when like he falls on the tracks, the cop pushes him off the tracks.
Okay.
Because it's like that's clearly like not the actor.
Right.
So I guess I'll go with that.
They also kind of like, I know he got hit, but there wasn't any like, blood or crunching or anything that would indicate that he actually died. Like, as far as I know, he's landed under the train or something.
So that scene was like typically a scene like that. Like it takes a long time to stage, and the director was just so fed up with the actor. He was just like, just write something. I don't know, do something.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, that scene's kind of awkward.
Yeah,
I guess I'll go with that. All right, this is gonna be a tough one. Best quote. Now I'm gonna limit it. Best quote other than "Warriors come out to play" or "Can you dig it?"
Okay, that's fair. God, there's so many good ones to me. So I wrote down so many quotes. I like shit. The chicks are packed. The chicks are packed. I think that's really funny. The baseball bat, popsicle line.
What's the matter? You going faggot?
We're not going to hide who we are just because some whore shakes her ass. Another great line. Those guys were some desperate dudes when they first get back on the train. That's another great quote.
For me, it's "I'll shove that bass up your ass and turn you into a popsicle." It's so cheesy. I love it.
I think I gotta agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I gotta agree with you. That's number 3. It's just such a cheesy line, but and he says it like kind of like a badass way. Like I don't know.
All right, I got best unintentional comedic moment.
Best unintentional comedic moment. God. Jesus. All right, this is again a very, very hard one. So I'm just gonna pick the first one that comes to mind, and that is that the very last lines by Luther when he's like, "No, it wasn't us. It was them, the Warriors."
I think. I don't know. I think every time Ajax says faggot, I know it's supposed to be like tough, and I don't know. I think because it's so like something you wouldn't say today.
God, I got another line like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think I'd probably go with. Well, I don't know. I think the whole scene where he's like, okay, this isn't funny, but like the fact that it's the moment leading up to it where Ajax just stops what he's doing and just like, hey, I'm gonna go sexually assault this girl.
Right.
Like we're in imminent danger. Everybody's after us, but like, no, I'm gonna stop. Like, oh, you guys are just being a bunch of faggots. That to me just like made me laugh. Like, what, dude? Why are you doing this? It's the dumbest decision ever. So I'm gonna go with that scene.
Okay.
Not the actual assault itself. That's not funny, but like just the decision to do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And it's in such a way that it's like, oh, we're getting chased, but this is casual. I'm just gonna go sexually assault somebody.
My quote is down.
My quote is down. Another line that I have written down. That's also kind of like cringy and funny. So maybe we ought to pull a train on you. You look like you may even like it.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay. I'll stick with mine, but that's a good one. All right. Best performance.
Ooh. Jeez. I think it's a small role, so I hesitate to say this, but I think Cyrus is my favorite performance.
David Patrick Kelly. Yeah. I wish he was in the movie more.
Yeah.
But every time he's on camera, he's just so memorable.
Yeah.
And just a weasel. That's a good one. I think Ajax, James Remar, I think I'm going to go with him just because, like, I liked his role in the movie because he was kind of a direct contrast to Swan.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool to see that kind of power struggle between the two. And he's not a likable character. He's horrible. But, yeah, he just plays that character very well. And he has a lot of good one-liners, too. So, yeah. I think I'm going to go with James Remar for Ajax.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, worst performance.
Oh, worst one. What do you think about this? Man, I don't know that there was any performance that I thought that was a bad performance. there were moments throughout the movie where everyone had bad parts.
I would probably say every warrior so everyone except Swan and Ajax is not that good of an actor.
That's fair. You can pretty much choose any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just say the Warriors minus Swan and Ajax.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. This movie's not about great acting chops.
No, it's not. Okay. So final thoughts, and let's give this thing a rating.
Rating?
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Okay. Final thoughts is, yeah, it's kind of a shallow movie. It's very stylistic and super fun. If you're looking for something to really sink your teeth into, it's probably not the movie. But if you're looking for a fun watch, do it. And I'll probably give it 3.5 out of 5.
Oh, 3.5. Okay. Now, is this one of your favorite movies?
It's one of my favorite movies, in a way, yeah. But I don't really have any what I would call favorite movies, but it's something I really enjoy watching because it's just so fun and silly. It's definitely one of my favorites.
So me, I was actually considering giving this a 4.5, but you kind of talked me down a little bit. I'm probably gonna go 4 out of 5. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad you picked this movie. I mean, I can't believe I didn't see it before. Yeah. I just love it. It's just such a simple premise.
Right.
You know? And, yeah, they just got to get from point A to point B. They're getting chased. I love the premise. Is it the most deep movie? No. But I think there's a lot of fun performances. And, you know, there's some good action. Not the best choreographed, but, you know, I think that's actually part of its charm. I love how ridiculous and silly it is. I mean, the whole concept of these gangs wearing these ridiculous outfits. I just think it adds to its charm. It's just such a weird movie. The soundtrack's awesome. Yeah, it's just solid movie. I mean, it, like I said, it kind of gets repetitive, and there's some points in the movie where it drags, but overall, this was a fun watch. Yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm having fun the whole time.
I could see myself like rewatching this, maybe bumping my score up.
Yeah,
with multiple viewings. But
I think I actually had the opposite effect when I watched it in high school. If you would have asked me, I would have been like 5 out of 5. That was the best thing. But now rewatching it in 2020, I'm like, there's some pretty problematic parts of there, which kind of take away from it a little bit for me. But
yeah, there's definitely some elements of it that have not aged well. But right. I mean, you have to expect that with a movie that was made in the 70s.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But it's still wildly entertaining.
Yeah,
and I think that about does it.
Cool.
Thanks for being on here. I'll have to have you back on, and we'll have to do another cheesy movie.
Yeah, always down for a good cheesy movie.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, that was The Warriors, and this is your host, Barrett Sigmund, and I will see you on the next episode of Mixed Reception.